Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Sir John Oldcastle, and we get to hear from Sir John, the Parson of Wrotham, to finish off Act 1, Scene 2 today. So this is not Sir John Oldcastle. We have heard him referred to as Lord Cobham, and he's got a little bit of a reputation because the fight that we saw in Act 1, Scene 1 might have been sort of inspired by him because Sir John Oldcastle is gaining notoriety as a proto-Protestant. So we've got the Protestant, proto-Protestant movement sort of uprising, and then all these people who are invested in the Roman Catholic Church want to squash that. So in this particular scene, we are at court. We got to meet King Henry V, and while the people around him, being the Bishop of Rochester and the Duke of Suffolk and Sir John the Parson and some others, while they were saying, you know, Your Highness, we really should squash this and we should arrest Lord Cobham for it, he was like, I can't really do that because he wasn't there. You know, it was indirectly his fault. I need better proof in order to do that. And he's like, furthermore, I've only ever heard good things about him. So maybe bring him in and I'll have a chat with him separately, like just privately, he and I. And if that doesn't work, then we can look into other things. Also of note, prior to this little bit of conversation happening, the Bishop of Rochester tried to give the Duke of Suffolk some money for helping out the church quite a bit, but the Duke of Suffolk turned it down, and then the king immediately asked, like, the church isn't giving me money for my war against France, are they? So there's some money stuff going on in addition to all of the rest of this. But once the king leaves, the bishop says to Sir John the Parson that he's still kind of uncomfortable with this. So Sir John is like, well, why don't you send for Sir John Oldcastle, Lord Cobham, also, and then you can also talk to him, and like he'll already be here if things need to be escalated more. So the bishop is like, yes, that's a good idea. I'm going to go do that. I'll take care of that. So he leaves, and when he leaves, it's just Sir John the Parson on the stage by himself, and he says, yea, do so. In the mean space this remains, for kind Sir John of Wrotham, honest Jack. Methinks the purse of gold the bishop gave made a good show. It had a tempting look. Beshrew me, but my fingers' ends to itch, to be upon those ruddocks. Well, 'tis this. I am not as the world does take me for. If ever wolf were clothed in sheep's coat, then I am he. Old Huddle and Twang, in faith, a priest in show, but in plain terms, a thief. Yet, let me tell you too, an honest thief, one that will take it where it may be spared, and spend it freely in good fellowship. I have as many shapes as Proteus had, that still, when any villainy is done, there may be none suspect it was Sir John. Besides, to comfort me, for what's this life, except the crabbed bitterness thereof, be sweetened now and then with lechery? I have my doll, my concubine, as 'twere, to frolic with, a lusty, bouncing girl. But whilst I loiter here, the gold may escape, and that must not be so. It is mine. Therefore, I'll meet him on his way to court, and shrive him of it. There will be the sport. So, dun, dun, dun! We've got a reveal! Sir John Parson, who's supposed to be like the voice of the Roman Catholic Church, or at least one of the voices of the Roman Catholic Church here. You know, King Henry, yes, he's the champion, but whatever. We have a parson of the church saying, I'm a thief, and I'm not really a good parson. That's just a show that I'm putting on for everybody else. And what kicks it off is he saw the bishop try to give money to the Duke of Suffolk, and he's like, I want that money. He mentions he wants his fingers to be upon those ruddocks. Ruddocks is a slang term for what they used to call gold coins, because the gold rubbing up against copper would sometimes turn it a reddish color. So he wants his fingers on those gold coins, and he's like, yep, I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing. But he does sort of think himself a bit of a Robin Hood. He says that he only takes money from people who can spare it, so he's only going to rob the wealthy, and he likes to spend it freely amongst his friends. And he's so good at playing different parts in different situations, that if anything goes wrong, nobody ever suspects him. So he's very sort of proud of this whole thing. And he's like, you know what's life without a little lechery? He's like, I got my lady on the side. Her name is Doll. And we go and we do our fun stuff every now and again. But important things here, I have to go get that money, because it's mine. So I'm going to follow him where he's going, and I will steal it from him, and oh my goodness, won't this be such fun. That's the end of Act 1, Scene 2. So, who saw that coming? That we've got, well, just want to point out here that there might be some biases in how these characters are portrayed moving forward. If Sir John Oldcastle, the proto-Protestant, is shown as being a good, upright citizen, and Sir John the Parson, in defense of the Roman Catholic Church, is shown as being literally a wolf in sheep's clothing, what do you think, like, which side do you think the author was on? Were they maybe proto-Protestant? And maybe anti-Catholic Church? Just something to think about. Interesting stuff. I'll see you tomorrow for more. Mwah.